Today we're checking out this new scooter from Circooter, which this is the mate model coming in at $899, but has been seen for around $7 or even $699 on sale. This new scooter comes with an 800-watt motor and a 12.5 amp-hour battery. This should give you a range of about 20 to 25 miles and with speeds up to 25 to 28 miles per hour, depending on rider weight and also the conditions that you're in. This new scooter will also ride on a tubeless tire, which is an all-terrain 10-inch wheel. These do have benefits and also some drawbacks, as one, you don't get flat tires, but two, they sometimes will provide a little bit of a rougher ride. This scooter is also able to climb grades of about 20 to 25%, and again, that might determine the rider weight, which might make that a little bit less, considering the fact I am a little bit bigger at 200 pounds and with a little bit of gear. The new scooter has adjustable handlebars that can raise and also lower to accommodate a rider height. And it has the ability to fold in both bars and also fold down the neck, which this definitely makes it a lot easier to store it into smaller places and take it with you. Now this scooter does weigh at just about 47 pounds, so there is a little bit of weight to it, but still lighter than some of the other models out there that can come in at 60 pounds. Now this unit will come with dual disc brakes. These are cable driven, which is just fine for this type of model, being that it is a little bit more entry level. And it does feature a front and also rear suspension, which they are a little bit stiff, but they may break in a little bit later, but they do provide a little bit of give, at least to suck up a little bit of the rubble and also maybe bumps that are on the terrain. Now this model is equipped with turn signals on the left and on the right side, along with a very bright headlight. This was surprisingly brighter than some of the other scooters that I've reviewed. Along with also on the battery tray underneath, there's a decorative blue light to light up the path a little bit, just to let people know that you're there. The information display is also pretty simplistic, as it gives you enough information like what mode you're in, the miles an hour that you're going, also distance that's traveled, along with battery power and more. But this also features an app that allows you to take a look at some of the other information and also lock this unit out. You can end up having it to where it's safely secured so nobody else can ride it. Now that doesn't mean that they just can't pick it up and take it, but at least it will be non-usable. Now being a 12.5 amp hour battery, if you were to deplete it all the way, it's going to take about 5 or 6 hours to charge this using the provided charger that they give you. And the way that this current model is set up, it has a max carrying capacity of about 440 pounds, which is a decent amount of weight for this size unit. Now that we've gone over some of the specs and details, we'll get on with the test ride. Now my ride started with about 0.6 miles on the odometer, and so far this scooter is well balanced and easy to ride. It's got decent amount of power so far that I've noticed, and it's also very quiet. Now I live in an area that's very popular for e-bikes and e-scooters. There's lots of hills and also dirt trails to be able to try this on, and it is a very hot day, so I'm assuming that's going to hinder some of the miles I get, but we'll see how the ride goes. Now I tested this scooter on long gradual hills, which this is where it did just fine with my weight and how hot it was. And then I did take it on the 20 to 25% and even where it got a little steeper. Now right about here is where the scooter did start to slow down as I got to that 25% grade, but around this corner is where it actually gets steeper. And so now you can see where it really does slow down. I am in turbo mode, but it still manages to make it up to the top, and this is a decent amount of elevation gain for the short distance it's traveled. Okay, top speed test. Now with me on a flat road, it says 21, 22, and one more test here. Now I know you can't see the screen, but on the actual monitor it says 24 miles an hour, so it's just a little bit off. Alright, so when it comes to riding this, I mean, obviously being a little bit more entry level, the scooter has decent power, but when you do get into some of the hills that are just a little bit more of a gradual grade, even though it says it can do 20 to 25%, me being a little bit of a heavier rider, because I'm 205 pounds with my gear and, you know, -5, you know, it does okay. It's, you know, again, 800-watt single motor, so it's not bad. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more torque out of it, but that's just me being nitpicky. Now I was trying to find a way to see if I could adjust the speedometer, since it is a couple miles an hour off. You know, because 2 miles an hour that's a significant difference. If it was only, oh, you know, maybe 1 mile an hour off, then that's not so bad. But being that 2 kind of gives you that, well, you were hoping you were going faster and you're not. Now, when it comes to the performance-oriented riders, you will have to pay attention to the tires. And for the off-road enthusiasts, it does okay, but since the tires are just a hard rubber, it's a little bit of a rougher ride. Okay, so just got done riding the Mate scooter for, probably the last almost 2 hours. And I've managed to put a decent amount of miles on it. And if you look here, I actually started with 0.7 miles on the bike. And so I'm right there at 20, pretty much what they said was suggested, especially with the conditions that I was riding in, because there's a lot of hills. And also, you know, it was hot out today, and heat will rob power. So overall, the distance kind of made it. But we'll go over a few of the pros and cons. That way you guys can know if this might be a good scooter for you. Okay, pros first. So with the scooter being able to fold, the handlebars collapse, the telescoping handlebars as well, plus it folds all the way down. It is kind of nice that it does that, because it packs up really tight. You can throw it in your trunk. It's not terribly heavy, about 46, well, I think 47.5 pounds is roughly about what it was stated at. So other than that, being, you know, one of the lighter scooters, it's not super light, but not also heavy, and that it compactly folds up. So that's kind of nice as far as what this has. The controls are also real simple. There's not a whole lot of, you know, functionality to them. It's just your standard buttons. You have your light, you have a horn, your modes as far as your speeds, and then this just changes it from kilometers or to miles. And you can change all of this stuff in the app too, your power button, and of course your left and right turns. But overall, I like the display too, plus the little cover that it does give you that'll, you know, keep it from getting scratched up when you have to wipe it off if it gets dusty. Other than that, the throttle actuator, this is actually really nice. This is super smooth, very predictable. So that is a bonus there. I do like that. And again, the telescoping thing, that's nice, because then it can fit a lot more riders more comfortably. Now, when it comes to the lights, those are definitely pretty cool. I mean, who doesn't like lights and stuff on their scooter? The suspension on here, this is probably more of a con, actually. It doesn't do a whole lot, and with the tires being a hard rubber, they're tubeless, so you can't change the air pressure or anything. It just makes it a little bit more rigid, but you have to remember this is a little bit more entry level. This isn't your $1,500 to $2,000 scooter. This is more of kind of your entry level one. So for about, you know, $700 or $899, somewhere between $699 and $899, depending on the price that you find it at. Okay, and when it comes to power, you have the 800-watt motor, but when you get in some of those bigger hills, it would be nice to have a little bit more torque. Now, 800 watts is one thing, but if your torque amount is low, let's say it's only 50 or 60 Newton meters of torque, you may want a little bit more for the heavier riders. And me being on that upper end with 200 pounds and a few pounds of gear, I noticed on the hills it would have been nice to have a little bit more. But I mean, if I had my daughter on here at 125 pounds, she would fly right up the hills. So those are just things to be aware of if you're buying this for yourself, and kind of what that might look like. Now, I will admit, I'm not really a fan of these type of tires, because you can adjust them. And these ones in the beginning, they'll take a little bit of time to break in, because they are a little bit slick right off. And after a couple miles, they'll get a little bit more tacky. And another thing too is that being that they are kind of knobby, they will hunt a little bit when they are brand new. It'll kind of maybe want to go in one direction or the other, just for like as you're turning a little bit, you'll kind of notice, it's nothing crazy. It's just something that I noticed. And if you are a more aggressive rider, then those tires also, being that you can't adjust the pressure, they could possibly slip out on you. I did have a couple spots where, because I'm a pretty aggressive rider, I ride stuff to its full potential and beyond. And I did notice the tires push a little bit. So, but overall, for the price of this, if you can definitely get it on a sale price, this is not a bad scooter for the price. So overall, I think it's a nice unit. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I hope you liked the video, and I hope to see you guys next time.